we can hire experts like Mr. Foreman over here to guide us through and advise you and us through this process, and for everything that's happened behind the scenes to get us to this point. Mr. Queener's right. We weren't ready 4 and 6 months ago when we first saw this. Tremendous work has occurred to get us ready for this. And I want to clarify, so I respect Mr. Queener quite a bit, but there were a few points that he made that I've got to take the minute to clarify, because I sat here when they were made. We didn't do the PUD backwards. Process was followed. It's a very complex process. There's nothing underhanded about this. It was the order in which we actually ran everything through the meetings. The same amount of transparency occurred. It is absolutely done the way it can be done. So, Ms. Bowers, I disagree with Mr. Queener's characterization of what you said. So I just want to be very clear about that. I spend time talking to business owners and whatnot in town because I care about the success of small businesses in town, and I hear the same thing. We need more customers. For our businesses to grow and thrive and not close. I mean, we've got successful restaurants that are barely hanging on. Some are closed. And I don't want this to become downtown Greenville. I don't think there's any risk of that. We have time to work and plan, but the fact that somebody wants to come and build homes here for us to get new friends and new neighbors, that's pretty exciting. And we're lucky to have a town that people want to move to. And does that mean there'll be a little bit of change? It does. But that's okay, because we can work together. We can bring in experts when necessary to guide us and give us good advice. And this isn't going to happen overnight. Homes don't get built tomorrow. It takes time. There's a lot of process. And I know that what we're seeing right now is just the tip of the iceberg of the process. So I thank you for your consideration of this. I ask you to vote to approve it and let the people like myself, the Planning Commission, the engineers that advise your town staff members, Mr. Foreman, hold our hand, guide us through this, and do it the right way. You can find comfort that we are not flying blind on this. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Other than the name on this list, is anybody here to speak in favor of or in opposition of our zoning of the property we discussed tonight? Just looking at anybody's face to see if anybody's mulling it over. Okay. In which case, I will call the public hearing to a close. And noting the presence of a quorum, I will call to order our regular council meeting for Monday, March the 10th, 2025. And we're right at 7:01 p.m., so we're just about there. First item on the agenda is our regular council meeting minutes from February 10th, 2025. We had a chance to discuss those at work session last week, and those are in our packets. Given that, I will entertain a motion.
I move that we adopt regular council meeting minutes of 2/10/25.
Second.
Motion on the table is to adopt regular council meeting minutes from 2/10/2025. Is there any discussion on this item? All those in favor, raise your right hand, please. And that motion carries. Thank you. Next, we'll move to public session, 30 minutes total. And we will start back at the top of the list again. Ms. Peak.
I think we signed the wrong form.
Very good. Okay. Not very good. I would love to hear from you, but Ms. Martin? Okay. I will move along to receipt and disposition of petitions. Anything to be made aware of, sir?
None at this time, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Reports from council committees. Planning, Ms. Bowers.
First thing I wanted, if I could, to take a moment to clarify what Justin and Mr. Queener have talked about.
The floor is yours.
And my bad word selection. The last PUD that we voted on, I actually added a step 2, which is what I meant by backwards, because I actually pushed us back so that council had to vote on a final approval in addition to all of the other steps. So we didn't do it out of order, we didn't do it in the wrong way. We actually had an additional step added. That's what I meant.
Thank you
I'm
for that
sorry.
clarification.
Sorry for my bad word selection. Planning met in last month, and they made a recommendation for us to approve all of the annexations and zonings that we have with us tonight on the agenda. So I just wanted to pass that along. I also wanted to make a motion. When we got COVID funds, I asked for $100,000 to be set aside for connectivity and walkability in the Broad Street area. There was a group of citizens working with me on how to do that and what we should do in that area. And I would like to make a motion that out of that $100,000, we use 33 to pay for Mike Foreman, and then the remaining to be moved to the sidewalk fund to start the engineering process for sidewalks on Broad Street and Gaines Street to have walkability on that side of the railroad tracks.
I'm doing math.
I think I did it right in my head, but you know.
I don't trust mine. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Councilwoman Bowers is to allocate $33,000 to support the work of Mike Foreman, and the remaining $67,000 for a sidewalk study for connectivity on near Gaines Street. Is that correct? Accurately captured your motion?
It was more just to move it to the sidewalk fund and go ahead and start engineering process, but we can do a study.
Motion on the table is $33,000 for Michael Foreman and $67,000 for the engineering for sidewalks. Any discussion?
Mayor, may I address?
Yes, sir.
I spoke with Councilwoman Bowers in reference to this. My concern is we are asking for 2 sidewalks to be in close proximity to each other, new sidewalks. I can say I would support a sidewalk down Broad Street from Bank Street down towards the park, but I cannot support a second sidewalk being in close proximity to a sidewalk that would be on Broad Street. So I think we should look at other areas within the community, within the town, to have another sidewalk built, engineering studies done. So I just do not feel like we would be good stewards of the citizens' tax dollars if we looked at putting 2 sidewalks in close proximity to each other. And that's my comments on that.
Any further discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
if we're allocating this money for study and engineering, couldn't these concerns from Mr. Peak be addressed in that?
I think they could. I know where he is thinking that we need sidewalks, and I agree with him. I think we just are going to have to
Can
look.
everyone use their microphones so we can hear, please?
Microphones are in front of us.
I know at community engagements in the past, other areas of town have asked for sidewalks, and yes, I think we could look at that before we completely engineer everything.
Let me ask this, would you be willing to withdraw your motion in favor of a written proposal to this effect so that we have something to review and look at?
I can.
Okay, motion is withdrawn. Anything further from planning? You have the staff report from Mr. Foreman.
Yes.
Yes.
Can we not go ahead and vote on moving that money so that Mr. Foreman can be paid?
We already have an agreement with Mr. Foreman, correct? Is that not correct?
Yes.
I think we already have an agreement with Mr. Foreman.
It'll be okay if we wait till next month.
Yeah, let's get something to look at, get something on paper. That would be my recommendation. Ms. Bowers, continue, please.
I'm just going to hit the highlights of Mike Foreman's staff report. An annexation request, which were all of the ordinance dated 2/10/2025, were submitted by the applicant on December 31st, 2024. It was surveyed by Jay Dunn on December 19th, 2024. In addition to the annexation request, the applicant submitted requests for zoning map amendments for all of the properties, 399.35 acres to the PUD R and 55.72 to general commercial. The PUD R included a preliminary development plan, a landscaping plan, and a statement of intent for the 18-mile PUD. We must hold 2 readings for each of these before they can be adopted, as well as hold a public hearing. The first vote, everything was approved 5-1 on January 13th, 2025. The subject properties are located at the corner of 18 Mile Road near the intersection of South Carolina Highway 88. And they are located in unincorporated Pickens County with portions in unincorporated Anderson County. All of this would fall in place after the PUD that we have already approved. Phase 2, which is development areas 2 through 7, are attached to the development plan, is proposing to add 2,470 residential units and up to 115,000 square feet of commercial space at full build-out. Phase 1 is proposed to close out in 36 to 48 months. And then Phase 2 build-out is proposed to proceed based on market conditions and infrastructure availability, among other conditions. No full build-out timeline has been provided at the time of this report. Preliminary public improvements proposed as part of this development include construction of public roadways, including sidewalks, significant common areas and open space, comprehensive stormwater management, public water and sewage. Timing and phasing of all improvements is subject to availability of adequate water supply, sewer collection, schools, garbage collection, police, and fire protection. The requests before council constitute the first step in a long and multi-leveled partnership between the town and the developer. The preliminary plan is highly conceptual in nature. as further details shall be provided as the project continues forward. And I think that is all I'm going to share.
Anything further from planning? Any
Planning- Planning will meet on Tuesday night at 6:30.
Any questions for planning this evening? Very good. Streets and Public Safety, Mr. Moss, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. During our retreat last Monday, we was challenged with a lot of things from the fire department and the police department. And as we grow, we know that every agency that we got has to grow. So we just asking that y'all bear with us and pray with us as we grow. That the money will be there for the police and fire department and all the rest of the agencies to grow with us. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Any questions for Streets and Public Safety? Ms. Chapman is unable to be with us tonight for Enterprise and Community Engagement. I'll move on to the Recreation Department. Mr. Dill, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The last senior bingo until after the spring sports will be this Thursday, March 13th. It'll be at 11:30 a.m. Central Clemson Indoor Rec Center. It's hosted by Central Parks and Rec and Clemson Parks and Rec. There's a free meal that's served at 11:30 and then bingo at 12. And it's a great event. If you are able, if you're 55 and up, you should be there. And if you're not 55 and up, you got to be there and helping. It's great. I can't be there this time, but I've been at the others, and it's just a great, enjoyable time and a great thing that our community does. We hosted the city basketball tournament at the Indoor Rec Center, and that was February 10 and 14 for ages 8 through 17, and then the 10 and under boys Western District Tournament, February 28th through March 1st, and then our 8 and under and 12 and under girls advanced to the state tournament and in Orangeburg and Bluffton. So a lot of activities going on and some extremely talented kids and coaches that we have. The Indoor Rec Center has a renovated locker room and added washers and dryers, sink and ice machine. That will help staff to be able to clean uniforms without having to take them home and use their own machines to do that. That's all I have at this time.
Very good. Any questions for Recreation? Financing and Marketing, Mr. Peak, sir.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Our general fund currently has a balance of let me back up, I'm sorry, $1,074,548.97 compared to a balance at the end of January of $918,176.91. This is an increase of $156,372.06. That's an increase in the general fund of 15.69% from January to February. For February, our water account had a deficit of $9,257, but for the year, we have a surplus in that account of $26,370. We had a decrease of 29.86% from January to February. The sewer account for February had a surplus of $13,977, and for the year, we currently have a surplus in that account of $110,140. And that's an increase from January to February of 13.55%. And our sanitation account for February had a surplus of $5,893. And for the year, we currently have a surplus of $57,451, and that's an increase of 10.99% from January to February. And once again, this month, I broke out some interesting numbers that I'd like to share. Our park buildings, we had 8 rentals for the month, and we had a income for the month of $1,150. our plan review fees for the month, we realized $3,563 of income for the town. And our business license for the month, we realized $20,506.06. And that's all I have, sir.
Very good. Any questions for finance and marketing? Tourism and Economic Development, Mr. Griffin, sir?
Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Our first Friday concert was this past Friday evening, March the 7th, from 6 to 8 p.m., and it featured the Tams. Catherine is coordinating the Easter egg hunt, which right now is set for April the 6th at 2 p.m. at the Heritage Museum. Councilman Moss's Unity in the Community at Bolick Field from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. is on Saturday, April the 12th. There'll be games, free food, inspirational singing, and messages. And you're asked to bring some canned goods to support the Clemson Community Care. The Sanders and Company Car Show will be May 24th. That's Labor Day weekend. It'll be on Main Street from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. There's planning a celebration on June 10th to celebrate the town's 150-year celebration, along with July 4th, Independence Day. And there'll be more information at a later date to come. The HUK Central Pro-Am Disc Golf Tournament is May 2nd through the 4th. The Police Department fundraiser is at the Depot, June 14th, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. There'll be food, there'll be fun with music. The Central Tigers Super Saturday, August 23rd, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And the farmer's market will start back in May, with more information on that to come at a later time. The trunk or trains will be Saturday, October 25th, from 1 to 5 p.m. And our first movie night will be Saturday, March 29th at Bolick Field, starting at 8:15 p.m. There'll be pre-movie activities, and snacks will kick off at 7:30. The event will be supported by the Central Parks and Recreation and the Central Police Department. And that's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Good report. Any questions for Tourism and Economic Development? Not aware of any new business or old business to discuss. Anything that we need to discuss for new or old business? Moving on to introduction and consideration of new ordinances, policies, proclamation, and resolutions. The first is a policy that is in your packet. This is a policy we talked about last week during the work session to create a commercial impact fee schedule based on equivalent residential unit factor. This is to create impact fees based on square foot of commercial areas, 1 EU, ERU, I'm not going to read the whole thing. The numbers are here. Basically, 1 ERU for water is $400. 1 ERU for sewer impact is $1,000, and the schedule is in your packet here. I make a motion that we adopt this policy, Policy 414-2025, Commercial Impact Fee.
Second.
Motion on the table is to adopt Policy 414-2025, Commercial Impact Fee. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand, please. And that motion carries. Thank you. Next item on our agenda, I will move to table the Utility Municipal Services and Annexation Agreement in our packet. I would ask for a second.
Second.
All those in favor of tabling the Utility and Municipal Services and Annexation Agreement, raise your right hand, please. And that motion carries. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is first reading of ordinance 4/14/2025 to amend business license class schedule. I'll entertain that motion as well.
I move that we adopt first reading of ordinance 4/14/2025, amend business license class schedule.
Second.
Motion on the table is to adopt on first reading ordinance 4/14/2025, amend business license class schedule. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand, please. And that motion carries. Thank you. Okay, now we're going to get into our annexations. These are all on second reading. Again, just to briefly run through what got us here. Was the annexation request made on the 31st of December last year, and asked for zoning map amendments for the corresponding properties. Annexation was the annexation first read of zoning was approved by council on the 13th of January of this year, 5-1 vote. Planning Commission took it up on January 23rd, 2025, and had a public hearing. They passed on a 5-0 vote, and tonight we are here to vote for both annexation and permanent zoning on second read, and that's what we are about to do now. So let's run through these. Again, lots of numbers. I hope that the presentation earlier today was helpful in helping us visualize what those numbers mean. So I will move first to second reading of ordinance 2/10/2025, annex portion of parcel number 407400052157, a tract on the south side of Highway 123.
Second.
Motion on the table is to adopt on second read ordinance 2/10/2025, annex portion of parcel 407400052157, tract on the south side of Highway 123. Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
there's a lot of these that we're going to read tonight, and we have to do that, and I understand it. I just want to say that we did a comprehensive plan a number of years ago that asked for citizens' input on how we should grow and where we should grow. And overwhelmingly, it was that we needed to grow on that side of town, this side of town.
Any further discussion?
Well, I'm sorry. I'm just being slow. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
But I'm trying to be careful here. I'm trying to say that I will vote for these things. And the reason I'm voting for these things are because it fits our comprehensive plan that we went through. That I think it's important for us to have some say in what happens in that area that's in our own backyard. I think that there are safeguards that we've put in place. Mr. Foreman, a very robust planning commission, safeguards like sewer, water, roads, all those things have to be worked out before we can do that. In some ways, those will even dictate how and what we can do. We have asked the developer to put some skin in the game by coming forward and putting up capital to make sure that some of the things that we think are necessary and needy can happen, and we can guide that if we're at the table with those people. I've been on the council a long time, 12 years maybe, something like that. For 10 years, we never had a permit pulled for a single-family home It was apartments. People told us we needed single-family homes. We need those dwellings for single-family dwellings. Our elementary school almost closed because we did not have enough students to sustain it. And so we had to work hard and creatively to make sure that we would have a great school there. And we did, and we do. An amazing school. I think that we need to step up our game in terms of, I would like for us to have some kind of developed plan that when a developer of a big development comes to us, if somebody owns a couple of acres and they want to put a house there, that's a different thing. But to a big developer that comes to us, I'd like for us to have a plan that we say, here's our criteria. If you're knocking on our door, here's what we're going to ask you to do before we will even answer the door for you. And I'm at a place to say that I'm ready to do that. But at this point, I just want to be transparent with everybody and say that I am going to vote in favor of these things. There have been times where we have had structures to close and we've moved fire trucks to be in place so that they could be quick to get to those places. If that bridge were to close, I'm sure we could move fire trucks on the other side and pull in from other places where we help each other in that way so that no one's property or life would be put in danger. So I just wanted to be upfront and transparent and say, I'll be voting yes for these. Okay, I'm done. Thank you, sir.
I appreciate that historical context. I really do. Any further discussion on the first ordinance? Or for that matter, all of them? Motion has been made and seconded. We're voting on second reading of ordinance 210-2025, annex portion of parcel 4074000052157. Any further discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand, please. And that motion carries. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is second reading of ordinance 210-2025, annex portion of parcel 4074000052157, tract on the south side of Highway 123. I will entertain a motion.
I move that we adopt on second reading ordinance 210-2025, Annex 2, portion of 4074000052157.
Second.
Motion on the table is to adopt on second reading ordinance 210-2025 to annex portion of parcel 4074000052157. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand, please. Motion carries. Next item, and I so move that we adopt on second reading ordinance 210-2025-1, annex portion of parcel 4074000349720, tract on the south side of 18 Mile Road.
Second.
Motion on the table is to adopt on second reading ordinance 210-2025-1, annex portion of parcel 4074000349720, tract on the south side of 18 Mile Road. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand, please. And that motion carries. Thank you. Excuse me. I move that we adopt on second reading ordinance 210-2025-2, annex portion of parcel 407400349720, tract on the south side of 18 Mile Road.
Second.
Motion on the table is to adopt on second reading ordinance 210-2025-2, annex portion of parcel 407400349720, tract south side of 18 Mile Road.
Did you, I'm sorry, did you
Point
make
of order.
that as a motion?
I did.
Okay.
I did. Any further discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand, please. Motion carries. Thank you. I move that we adopt on second reading ordinance 210-2025-1, annex portion of parcel 407400453058, tract on the south side of 18 Mile Road.
Second.
Motion on the table is to adopt on second reading ordinance 210-2025-1, annex portion of parcel 407400453058, tract on the south side of 18 Mile Road. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand, please. Motion carries. I move that we adopt on second reading ordinance 210-2025-2, annex portion of parcel 407400453058, tract on the south side of 18 Mile Road.
Second.
Motion on the table is to adopt second reading of ordinance 210-2025-2, annex portion of parcel 407400453058, tract on the south side of 18 Mile Road. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand, please. Excuse me. I move that we adopt on second reading ordinance 210-2025-1, annex parcel number 4064758412, tract on the south side of 18 Mile, or excuse me, South Side Highway 123.
Second.
Motion on the table is to adopt second reading of ordinance 210-2025-1, annex parcel number 406400758412, tract on the south side of 123. All those in favor?
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
first? You said 4064?
Correct. 4064 is the number. It was printed incorrectly on the agenda.
Oh, okay, yes. Yes, I see.
So I enunciated the 6
Yeah.
so
Just to
clearly.
make sure.
Thank you. Any further discussion or questions? All those in favor, raise your right hand, please. Motion carries. Thank you. Next item, I move that we adopt on second reading ordinance 210-2025-1, annex parcel 407400552043, south side of 18 Mile Road.
Second.
Motion on the table is to adopt on second reading ordinance 210-2025-1, annex parcel number 4074552043, south side of 18 Mile Road. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. I move that we table second reading ordinance 210-2025-1, annex TMS number 60001005, west side of 18 Mile Road.
Second.
All those in favor, raise your right hand, please. Just as a point of order on table motions, there is no discussion. I move that we table second reading of ordinance 210-2025, Annex 1, portion of TMS 60001028, west side of Highway 88.
Second.
All those in favor, raise your right hand, please. Motion carries. Thank you. I move that we table second reading of ordinance 210-2025-2, annex portion of TMS number 60001028, west side of Highway 88.
Second.
All those in favor, raise your right hand, please. Thank you. I move that we table on second reading of ordinance 210-2025-1, annex portion of TMS number 60001010, west side of Highway 88.
Second.
All those in favor, raise your right hand, please. I move that we table second reading of ordinance 210-2025-2, annex portion of TMS number 60001010, west side of Highway 88.
Second.
All those in favor, raise your right hand, please. Motion carries. Thank you. Get a sip of water here. Moving to item number 1 on zoning. These are the second readings of the zonings of the properties annexed in. I move that we adopt second read of ordinance 211-2025, permanent zone portion of parcel number 407400052157, tract on the south side of Highway 123 to PUD R.
Second.
Motion on the table is to adopt second reading of ordinance number 211-2025, PZ portion of parcel 407400052157, south side highway, tract south side Highway 123 to PUD R. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand, please. Motion carries. Thank you. I move that we adopt on second reading ordinance 211-2025, permanent zone portion of parcel number 407400052157, tract on the south side of Highway 123 to general commercial.
Second.
Motion on the table is to adopt second reading of ordinance number 211-2025, permanent zone portion of parcel number 407400052157, tract on the south side of Highway 123 to general commercial. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand, please. Thank you. I move that we adopt on second reading ordinance 211-2025, permanent zone portion of parcel number 407400349720, tract on the south side of 18 Mile Road to general commercial.
Second.
Motion on the table is to adopt second reading of ordinance 211-2025, permanent zone portion of parcel number 407400349720, tract on the south side of 18 Mile Road to general commercial. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand, please. Motion carries. Thank you. I move that we adopt on second reading ordinance number 211-2025, permanent zone portion of parcel number 407400349720, a tract on the south side of 18 Mile Road to PUD R.
Second.
Motion is to adopt second reading of ordinance number 211-2025, permanent zone portion of parcel number 407400349720, tract on the south side of 18 Mile Road to PUD R. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand, please. And that motion carries. I move that we adopt on second reading ordinance 211-2025, permanent zone portion of parcel number 407400453058, tract on the south side of 18 Mile Road to general commercial.
Second.
Motion on the table is to adopt on second reading ordinance 2/11/2025, permanent zone portion of parcel number 407400453058, a tract on the south side of 18 Mile Road to general commercial. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand, please. That motion carries. I move that we adopt on second reading ordinance 2/11/2025, permanent zone portion of parcel number 407400453058, a tract on the south side of 18 Mile Road to PUD R.
Second.
Motion on the table is to adopt on second reading ordinance number 2/11/2025, permanent zone portion of parcel number 407400453058, a tract on the south side of 18 Mile Road to PUD R. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand, please. And that motion carries. I move that we adopt on second reading ordinance 2/11/2025, permanent zone of parcel number 406400758412, a tract on the south side of Highway 123 to PUD R.
Second.
Motion on the table is to adopt second reading of ordinance 2/11/2025, permanent zone parcel number 406400758412, a tract on the south side of Highway 123 to PUD R. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand, please. Thank you. I move that we adopt second reading of ordinance 2/11/2025, permanent zone of parcel number 407400552043, the south side of 18 Mile Road to general commercial.
Second.
Motion on the table is to adopt on second reading of ordinance 2/11/2025, permanent zone parcel number 407400552043, south side of 18 Mile Road to general commercial. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand, please. And that motion carries. I move to table second reading of ordinance 2/11/2025, permanent zone of TMS number 6000010005, west side of 18 Mile Road.
Second.
All in favor? Motion carries. I move to table second reading of ordinance 2/11/2025, permanent zone portion of TMS number 60001028, west side of Highway 88.
Second.
All those in favor? Motion carries. I move to table second reading of ordinance 2/11/2025, permanent zone portion of TMS 60001028, the west side of Highway 88 to.
Second.
All those in favor? I move to table second reading of ordinance 2/11/2025, permanent zone portion of TMS number 60001010, west side of Highway 88.
Second.
All those in favor? Motion carries. I move to table second reading of ordinance 2/11/2025, permanent zone portion of TMS number 60001010, west side of Highway 88.
Second.
All those in favor? Motion carries. Mr. Clore, do you have any reports for us tonight?
Yes, sir, and again, excuse me, my voice is still 3 weeks gone, but it's coming back slowly. Again, Mr. Mishu is very much under the weather and expresses that he's sorry he couldn't be here. The PCMA meeting in Easley has been changed. The date has been changed to March 20th at 6:45 at the Public Works Building in Easley on Pope Drive. Again, that's March 20th at 6:45. Susan does need a head count.
I can't make that.
Looks like one. Also, an update on the Brock Street Waterline project. Those bid packets have been sent. They're due in April. It is listed on our website. And very important, the State of Central at Southern Wesleyan is May 22nd, 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. That's at SWU again, and we'll be getting the head count a little later on, but just go ahead and get it on your calendar. Any questions?
No, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You have a question? Oh, I thought.
Anything else for tonight? Appreciate everybody's time and patience. Anything else tonight that we need to discuss? If not, without objection, we're adjourned.
Well,
Instead of rolling it 20 minutes.